is probably with LSP data. And today I want to touch on a way that you can drive for dollars. And this is going to get you way ahead of people using services such as listsource or PropStream, because this data is not going to be in their platforms, or if it ever becomes, available, it's going to take a few months at least. And basically the data we're going to touch on is the service requests, or 311. So a lot of cities, most major cities have this service where any neighbors, any citizen can call in and complain, about, let's say, tall grass, about homeless people breaking into houses because they're vacant, right? So we're trying to determine any kind of vacant or distressed properties, right? And then later you can correlate that data with tax delinquencies or anything else. But I'm just going to show you a free way of doing it. And again, you're going to be way ahead of anyone who's not looking into this data. And the cool thing is that this is all for free, right? So I'll show you how we use it. And this way we can provide our clients, fast and fresh data, right? And again, we're way ahead of services such as listsource or PropStream. So give us a try. And I'll start off with the sort of the end results of what you would typically see. So for example, you have the dates, which these cases take place, right? So if somebody's, for example, today's the 14th of February, and this data is at, we haven't loaded this data in the last 2 days or so, but it's updated daily. And this obviously applies to most major cities, and it just depends on how often they upload their own data, right? But for example, I've created a list of keywords to look for. For example, boarded, homeless, vagrant, deserted, uninhabitable, and the list goes on, right? And I've already loaded this into my database, but I'll show you here how to do it with Excel. So for example, as you can see, there's a lot of those that match a specific incident case type. So nuisance in property, dangerous building, and whatnot, right? And again, this is people that are reporting this for you, right? And that's exactly what I meant for virtually driving for dollars. Because typically, if you drive for dollars, you're going to be the one driving around and taking a look at houses, right? And determining whether they match your criteria for being distressed or, vacant, right? And in this instance, well, you don't have to go anywhere. You can just pull up the addresses, and makes it easier for you to actually pull up on Google Street View, if the images are recent. But let's get started. And first, search for your city 311 service request. And you're gonna come across a website similar to this. Yours might look different. And before I get too far, my team and I made a list of all the most popular cities, and I'm sure your city will be here. So I'll share a link on the description where you can access this list for free. And that way it makes it a lot easier, especially if you're doing virtual wholesaling or virtual investing in other areas. So this is going to make it a lot simpler. And some of them also include, things like code violations, URLs, right? So this is months worth of research. And again, all for free. If you have any questions, obviously feel free to reach out. So for this particular one, we're focusing on Houston, Texas. And you can either download the whole list, the whole year, or, the month to date, right? So we'll focus on the month to date. And if we click on it, you notice it has a text.txt extension, right? So this is going to be quite a big of a file, right? And, don't let that intimidate you. What we're going to do is I'm just going to save this as a... Again, I had saved this a few minutes ago. Just save it as a text file. Once you get that file, I'm going to open Excel. And I'll just drag that into Excel. Or you can just do file, upload, open, and that spreadsheet, right? So, and here, I'm just going to take this away and delete those unnecessary columns. So now I have, the header and everything else here. So what I'm going to do now is since those are piped, we can easily turn those into columns. So I'm going to do delimited, and I'm going to use pipe. So as you can see, it's going to break each one of those into its own field or column. And we'll let Excel do its magic now. So you should get something like this. And once everything's broken down, right, now you can get a better idea of when the event happened, right? A lot of those you might have to convert. So for example, this is a time date. So I want to focus on the ones that are the most recent, right? Because those are the ones that are going to give me that competitive advantage, right? And again, the things that you want to look for specifically is, the case types, right? So in this case, things that I would focus on would be, dangerous building, because there might be a potential code violation for those. There's quite a bit of categories here, right? And the beauty of this is that it's gonna provide you with the actual, basically the comments that the person called for, right? And it's gonna tell you specifically on the description, what did the person that called in complain about, right? So for example, there's plenty of things, health facility, etc., illegal dumping, right? So there's a lot of things that are gonna give you an idea of what's wrong with the property, right? And one of the things, if you want to make it easier, just click on any of the categories here, right, or the case type. So for example, let's search for, there's no vacant, but let's say building, and then there's a dangerous building or building code violation, right? So now we zoom into that, and again, we've only pulled the months, the records for February, right? You can go back and pull the last year, and obviously you're gonna get a lot more. And if we go to the comments, or what is the issue here, we're gonna see that burn, abandoned home, open vacant house, high grass, dilapidated, boarded up. As you can see, this is basically giving you all the information that you need. So all you need to do is basically figure out who lives here, skip trace it, give them a call, right? Those will most likely be your motivated sellers, right? And again, the beauty of this is that they're up to date, and not everyone is looking at those lists, right? We provide those lists and we tie them into the appraisal district information. So basically for us, we can tie this information even to the USPS vacant, right? And this is the list that typically gets provided to listsource and all other commercial softwares like PropStream. The ones that say null are those that we 100% know that are not going to be in those platforms, because typically the USPS list is provided to everyone, well, to vendors. And again, this is one of our competitive advantages. But again, we provide the parcel information, the full address, the owner, and all other information that you would expect for any list that you're pulling or any leads, right? So that's it, guys. Again, look at the link in the video description, and we're going to be providing you with the list of all other 311 service request websites. And that way you can, grab the data that's local to you or your local market, and then filter it out. Again, there's a few categories here that I would focus on, right? For example, nuisance, water leak, dangerous building. There's a lot of categories that are very helpful in determining whether the house is vacant or if the house is distressed, right? And yep, that's it. Stay tuned. I'm going to be providing a lot more free content because this is ways that you can get ahead. And again, if you need to order any leads or skip trace services, let us know. Visit our website or DM us with any of your questions.